Well, just ahead of Women's Day, we're joined by a very special guest. She's the first Lieutenant General in the Indian Army to be appointed under the Chief of Defence Staff. The CDS is a new post in the Indian Army. Very privileged to have with us Lieutenant General Madhuri Kanitkar. Thanks, ma'am, very much for joining us. An exciting opportunity for you, a new responsibility. Besides anything else, CDS is a huge portfolio combining all three services.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I may be a pediatrician, but I don't do anything in small measures.
Right.
I like challenges in big, large this thing. So a new this thing, and I don't look at it as a challenge. I think it's an opportunity. When you come into it right at the beginning, I think it's going to be great because there's a change happening. I would like to be part of it and contribute in a big way.
Right.
So in that aspect, we are tri-services already, the medical under the DG AFMS. And it's a great thing that I can be part of it to bridge this and, really integrate with the other arms which would be part of it.
And what are your ideas? Because we've spoken to General Rawat about so many things which need to be done. Some are big steps, some are small steps. We need to change our thinking of all the services coming together and working together. But in medicine, how can that be further accentuated?
I think it's very simple. Since you brought medicine, I'll put it in a really layman's language. If a patient is admitted in a ward and has a problem, the cardiologist is seeing his heart, then 2 hours later the nephrologist comes and sees the kidneys and the neurologist looks at only the brain, look at the patient's condition. Whereas if all three came together and had a look at him, he'd probably feel better faster. So I think medical, there's a huge scope. We are anyway one, but in different colors. But if we can work together, and I think it would be more important to work for combat support.
Right.
So it would involve training, research, everything would need to be aligned to combat support.
Right.
Peacetime is not such a problem.
Right. And ma'am, you mentioned the word combat. Of course, there's this entire debate on whether or when women in India will be allowed into combat roles. That's a larger issue. But in having sort of reported the Forge for 24 odd years, women have very much been on the outskirts of combat roles. During the Kargil war, there were women surgeons who were patching up people who were injured. I'm sure there would be women doctors deployed in Srinagar and in a lot of other areas, patching up soldiers who are injured.
Yes.
And if you come under attack, you pick up a gun and you fight.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, in a sense, you are very much in a combat role.
Yes. I don't think there's a problem for doctors at all. Like even now, in among the first that you are saying, I was the last tenure I've been heading the combat medical support of the most active Northern Command and traveled the entire length and breadth of 14, 15, 16 Corps and all the places. And I found the young girls from ready to do long range patrols to sitting in cordons, they didn't have a problem. But I can't really comment what it would be to be upfront fighting.
Right. So we haven't gotten to that as yet.
Yes.
But I think the point I'm making is that women are already involved very heavily in all aspects.
Yeah.
And I mean, you choose to be deployed in areas which are being shelled, for example. Or you choose to be in areas where there's active fighting, where as surgeons and doctors you're helping soldiers. So you're very much in the front.
Absolutely.
In fact, during the Kargil war, Flight Lieutenant Gunjan Saxena, who we did a story on, was actually flying in a war zone, and she was a combat aviator.
Yes.
Ma'am, your husband is also a part of the Army, retired quite recently as the Quartermaster General of the Army. 2 Lieutenant Generals in the same family, husband and wife, and that is very much a first.
Yes.
Quite incredible. He must have been delighted when he learned that you picked up your rank as well.
He came down by train overnight with the rank and says, I'm going to have the pleasure. And in lighter this thing, when he pipped me, I gave him a smart salute and said, thank you, sir.
Right.
So that was exactly because for these 37 years, the kind of support I've had from him has been tremendous. And he also said that I'm happier pipping you than putting on my own rank.
Yeah, now it must be an incredible honor. So an Army family, the two of you, and being part of the Army was always your dream, right?
Yes.
Tell us
and
about
that was,
dream.
well, I was never part of the Army in that sense as a kid. I was not a kid Army brat. My parents weren't in the Army, and for that matter, nor were Rajiv's, that's General Kanitkar's parents. But somehow it was probably when I was studying in 12th standard, and I had a chance to look up some handsome guys strolling on Ferguson College Road.
Right.
And one of them later turned out to be my future husband. And also an opportunity to look at Armed Forces Medical College, because my roommate in Ferguson was a Air Force daughter.
Yeah.
And when I went there, I thought there was something distinct about it, and probably it's like, attracts like. So basically being a very physically fit, meticulous kind of a person, it really appealed to me that this is what I want to become.
Right.
And we both decided we are taking on the army at full force and joined up.
Right. What's been your most challenging assignment till date?
I think professionally and like balancing my home front and doing professionally well, the challenging was Pathankot. For two reasons, I remember it very clearly. One was that was the time my husband was in Hisar, 2IC, and then commanding the regiment. I had a 6-year-old daughter who just developed epilepsy, and my son was going into 9th, 10th and said, "Mom, I've had enough, I'm not moving with you." So I left him in Pune with my in-laws. I had my husband in Hisar and at point, and I was there with the daughter, and it's one of the busiest hospitals, which required me to be day and night with the things. So on one hand, I was balancing this, looking at that, just about remaining afloat when my mother went into coma. And that was the time I really appreciate. I still remember he was Colonel Arvind Gupta, my colleague. And I was, as to what do? I couldn't contact my husband who was in the field. I didn't know what to do. He said, "Just leave your daughter with me."
Right.
And for 2 weeks, I left her and came and nursed my mother. So I think that was professionally and personally, every way challenging.
It's part of the army family sort of experience. You help
Yes.
each other in so
Yes.
many ways.
Yes.
So, ma'am, before we started, and this is something which I have noticed for so long, in so many cases, for example, in your case,
Yeah.
you have risen on the basis of merit,
Yes.
not on the basis of being a woman. And I think that's a key point, that as we look at more roles for women in the armed forces and in the army, it'll all be decided by merit, and none of these women officers would want it any other way. It has to be merit or not at all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, because everyone's been saying, first woman dean, first woman. And I kind of wonder whether that adjective, gets me somewhere on a different platform, or you have that little handicapped category. So I was a little concerned about it, but I'm glad. Like I said, a doctor, a soldier, a teacher, the roles that I follow, none of them have any gender attached to it.
Yeah. And when you are deployed, wherever you are deployed as a young doctor or in one of the several other arms now open, that sense of respect, which a lot of people felt might be challenging to come from some soldiers, in your experience, that's never been the case, because you're in uniform and respect is the basis of the way the army functions.
In fact, look at it, I have nothing against, but compared to, say, army and the civil, this thing where today we've reached a stage where we have to really protest because doctors are being beaten up. And at times there are even, I'm sitting on the ethics cell of the Medical Council of India, and they're flinging so many things against women.
Right.
Whereas here we are so respected. So I think actually it's kind of a fairly protected, again not gender, but in the circumstances, I would say that it's a very, very safe and respected place. So it doesn't matter whether you're a woman.
And ma'am, which brings me really to my last couple of questions. Going forward, the future, the aspirations of a generation of young women to be combatants.
Yes.
The reasons which the army has said is that, physically women are different. That may be a problem going forward. There have been concerns about torture of women if they're captured behind enemy lines. What are your own thoughts on this, particularly when there are so many young women who feel that this is a volunteer army, I'm volunteering for this, and I choose the risks?
Yes. So I think as far as physical, yes, look, but we are evolving. When I was younger, I ran the same BPT and PPT with the men's standard because there were no women other than AMC, so that there were standards for women.
Right.
But today we've evolved, we have special standards, and I can, put in my category and come out well. So I think if from that sense, physical fitness level is different, but we can handle it. But having come to this thing of, you know, I mean, we are really looking at armed combat. So we can always go in phases. We don't have to put them. Today there's so much of cyber, and there's going to be so much of thing beyond you know, a fist fight or a close body contact kind of a thing, or getting a POW. We have fighter pilots, girls doing it. So I think it's best to go slow, go in a very staged manner, and make the paths or support the women as different roles are being played out.
Right. And do you feel that in the future it's essentially a matter of time?
Absolutely.
Before women are.
Yeah.
Well, General Kanitkar, you've got an enormous set of responsibilities, and thank you so much for
Thank you so
speaking
much.
to us.
It's been lovely, and all the best.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
ma'am. Well, there you have it, Lieutenant General Madhuri Kanitkar telling us about the challenges ahead. She didn't use the word challenges, she used the word opportunities. But as the first Lieutenant General ranked officer under the Chief of Defence Staff, India's first, she will have an awesome set of responsibilities going forward in integrating the forces in the field of medicine, but also explaining to us how and what the army means for her and the road ahead perhaps for women.